Sweden's Gripen fighter jet, stealthy, agile, and increasingly sought after. But with so many advanced aircraft on the market in late 2025, why are nations lining up for this Scandinavian marvel? We're diving deep into the unexpected global demand for the Gripen, revealing the surprising buyers and the strategic reasons behind their choices. Many believe only superpowers dictate the skies, but a new contender is proving them wrong, and nations you might not expect are lining up to acquire it. The Gripen isn't just another fighter, it's a strategic game changer. Find out which countries are making bold moves by investing in Sweden's cutting-edge aerial technology and what their choices reveal about the shifting balance of global power.
When we talk about modern fighter jets, the conversation almost always begins with the US F-35, Russia's Su-57, or even France's Rafale. But quietly and almost unexpectedly, Sweden's Gripen has started to disrupt this global market. Unlike its competitors, Gripen isn't just a machine. It's the product of Sweden's unique defense philosophy. Sweden has always prioritized independence, cost efficiency, and clever engineering over raw size or prestige. Instead of pouring billions into a single do-it-all jet, Swedish engineers asked a smarter question. What do smaller nations actually need to survive in a modern battlefield? This mindset gave birth to a fighter that costs half as much to fly as the F-35, yet still packs advanced sensors, long-range missiles, and world-class electronic warfare systems. For countries with limited budgets, Gripen hits the perfect sweet spot between affordability and cutting-edge performance. And here's where it gets really interesting: the modular design. Unlike many aircraft that lock buyers into expensive US or Russian supply chains, Gripen can be adapted. New radars, different weapons, even local software integration. That flexibility makes it especially appealing for nations who want sovereignty over their defense, not just a jet controlled by Washington or Moscow. In short, Gripen isn't trying to outmuscle the competition. Instead, it's reshaping the rules of the game, offering independence, adaptability, and efficiency in a world where defense costs are spiraling out of control.
If Gripen's design philosophy is its secret weapon, then its current operators are living proof of that success. Take Brazil. In Latin America's largest defense deal of the decade, Brazil didn't just buy Gripens, it became a co-producer. The Gripen EF program in Brazil isn't just about new jets flying patrols. It's about transferring technology, creating local jobs, and building an aerospace ecosystem that will serve Brazil for decades. Engineers in Sao Paulo are now assembling advanced Gripens with Swedish know-how, a level of industrial partnership the US rarely allows. In many ways, Brazil isn't just flying Gripens, it's building its future around them. Then there are Hungary and the Czech Republic, two nations that took on Gripens when others were still skeptical. Today, they're quietly reaping the benefits. With upgraded avionics, weapons, and NATO interoperability, their Gripens are still frontline ready, a fact that has turned heads in neighboring Eastern Europe, where Soviet-era MiG-29s are literally rusting on the tarmac. But the real suspense lies with the potential new buyers. Austria is stuck in a costly dilemma with its aging Eurofighters. Politicians are openly debating whether Gripen might be the cheaper, smarter replacement. And in Asia, the Philippines, under mounting pressure in the South China Sea, is urgently modernizing its air force. Gripen is now at the top of their shortlist, with its affordability and adaptability looking tailor-made for Manila's budget and defense needs. Each of these victories, from Brazil's local production, Hungary's upgrades, and the Philippines' looming decision, signals one thing: Gripen isn't just surviving the global arms race, it's winning it in unexpected places.
So the big question, why are nations choosing Gripen when the flashier F-35 or Rafale dominate headlines? The answer lies in three strategic factors that go beyond just technology. First, political independence. Buying American jets like the F-35 often means accepting Washington's strings, from weapons export controls to software locks that limit how a country can use its own aircraft. Russian or Chinese options come with their own baggage. Gripen offers something rare, a sovereign choice. Nations can integrate their own weapons, their own software, and aren't trapped in the orbit of a superpower. In today's fractured geopolitics, that freedom is priceless. Second, the operational cost. Flying an F-35 can cost over $35,000 per hour. The Gripen, less than a third of that. For countries with smaller defense budgets, this isn't just a saving, it's survival. Cheaper maintenance means pilots fly more often, fleets stay active longer, and taxpayers aren't crushed under spiraling costs. And then comes the technology factor. Gripen isn't just cheap, it's cutting edge in ways that matter for defense. Its sensor fusion system gives pilots a battlefield picture as sharp as the F-35's, while its electronic warfare suite can jam, blind, and outmaneuver threats without ever firing a missile. For smaller nations facing larger adversaries, Gripen's brain, its sensors and EW, can be more decisive than sheer muscle. Put together, these factors explain the rising demand. Gripen offers nations not just a fighter jet, but strategic independence, financial sustainability, and technological credibility, a combination its rivals struggle to match.
Of course, the Gripen story isn't all victories. In fact, some of its most telling moments come from the battles it lost. Take Canada's fighter replacement saga. For years, Ottawa wrestled with what to do about its aging CF-18 Hornets. Gripen emerged as a strong contender, cheaper to operate, fully NATO-compatible, and offering Canada more independence than the American F-35. But in the end, politics tipped the scale. With Canada's deep defense ties to the US, choosing anything but the F-35 was almost unthinkable. Gripen didn't lose on capability. It lost to geopolitical gravity. Then there's India. Few markets are more complex or more politically charged. Saab pitched the Gripen as the perfect single-engine fighter for India's massive Air Force modernization. But India had its own ambitions, pushing the domestic HAL Tejas program while also wooed by France's Rafale deal, with its offsets and political symbolism. Gripen found itself squeezed out, not because of performance, but because India wanted both self-reliance and prestige. And in Croatia, a country looking to replace its Soviet-era MiGs, Gripen again seemed like the practical choice. But Zagreb went with second-hand Rafales from France. Why? Diplomacy and timing. France offered a quick deal, political clout inside the EU, and jets that were available immediately, something Sweden couldn't match. These missed opportunities highlight a key reality. Gripen may be cost-effective and adaptable, but in the high-stakes world of defense deals, politics often trumps engineering.
So, where does the Gripen go from here? If its past has been defined by clever engineering and strategic positioning, its future will be tested by rapid change. Saab knows this. That's why Gripen isn't frozen in time. It's constantly evolving. The newest Gripen EF embodies Saab's smart fighter philosophy: more software-driven upgrades, faster adaptability, and an architecture built for continuous improvement. Unlike older jets that require massive overhauls, Gripen can evolve like a smartphone. New codes, new sensors, new tricks, without crippling costs. But the next battlefield won't be dominated by manned fighters alone. Unmanned combat aerial vehicles, UCAVs, are on the rise, from loyal wingmen to swarming drones. Here too, Gripen could carve a niche. Its open architecture makes it uniquely suited to team up with drones, acting as the command hub in a mixed fleet, extending range, multiplying firepower, and confusing adversaries with electronic warfare tactics. Still, the challenge ahead is steep. By the 2030s, nations will face a flood of next-generation fighters: Europe's FCAS, the UK's Tempest, and even advanced domestic programs in countries like South Korea, Turkey, and India. To survive, Gripen must defend its sweet spot, offering high-tech performance at a fraction of the cost. The suspense lies in whether Saab can keep Gripen relevant in this crowded, futuristic market. If history is any guide, Gripen will not try to outmuscle its rivals. Instead, it will outsmart them. And that's the story of Sweden's Gripen, the underdog fighter jet rewriting the rules of global air power. But the question remains, in a world dominated by giants like the F-35, can Gripen continue to punch above its weight? I'd love to hear what you think. Should more nations bet on Gripen, or will it be overshadowed by the next generation of fighters? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to ViperJet Wings, your cockpit view into the world of military aviation. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies.